Hey gang, Todd here, and now that it's starting to get a little warmer, heading back out to the theater. We'll be seeing Scream 7. Now, unfortunately, it does not have any of the cast from the previous two films, but it does have the returning cast from the originals, Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, and apparently David Arquette must be doing some flashbacks. And most interesting, McKenna Grace is going to be in it. You know, the little girl from the new Ghostbusters movies, and who played Captain Marvel as a child in the Captain Marvel movie. So that's something. I'll let you know when I get back out if it's going to be good or not. I'm a little disappointed Hayden Panettiere isn't going to be in it. I really liked the way her character turned out in the last film, where she was a tough, hard-as-nail cop. See you after the film. And we're back. Pretty good flick. As usual, since it's written by Kevin Williamson, it's a pretty good mystery, some good twists. Basic plot is that Sydney is now married with a teenage daughter, about the same age she was in the first Scream. Joel McHale plays her husband, who is the police chief. Bit of a throwback to Scream 4, where Dewey was the police chief there, and he was married to Courtney Cox's character. Anyway, she starts getting phone calls from, of all people, Stu, one of the killers from the first film, who she put a TV set through the head of. How did he survive? Or is it AI? Good question. But then her daughter and her daughter's friends start getting targeted. So she and Gail who comes back because, you know, big story. She's now no longer a talk show host, but is trying to come back as a crime reporter in New York. And she goes down to where they are, and they team up, and you get the usual kind of characters, although instead of a film buff, you get a true crime buff, and Gail's camera crew are the one doing over the rules and everything, so they still have that. Not as meta as some of the past ones are, but that's okay, because that whole meta thing's kind of played out. So it's more in reference to, and they redo some scenes from like the first couple of films. You know, it's callbacks. Tatum's boyfriend climbs into the window to see her. She finds her mom's old jacket that she wore in college, you know, that kind of thing. But one of the main focuses of the plot, which I liked, was the dynamic between mother and daughter. Sydney has become so overprotective because of all the trauma she's been through that instead of keeping her daughter close to her, it's actually pushed her farther away from her, because Sydney doesn't want to talk about any of the things that she's been through. And this has caused a big rift. And so that is something they have to work on throughout the course of trying to keep from getting killed. A lot of good action. Pretty good mystery. Although I started to have inklings of who the killer was about halfway through. But you probably will too. Or should I say the other killer? You know, it's a Scream. Except for the third one, there's always more than one. And my favorite fight scene has to be the one in the bar of a tavern after hours. A lot of good weapons for both combatants to grab and use. That was pretty inventive. Some really gnarly gore in it. Just some really gory set pieces. If you're not familiar with that term, it's one I learned from books about giallos and slasher films. They call the big murder scenes the set pieces, because that's basically what the film is set around, is those scenes. William Castle used to do that in the 50s and 60s. He'd have several scenes he wanted, horror scenes that he wanted, and then he would structure the whole film around those. And that's kind of how slashers and giallos work. Everything leads up to those key murder scenes. And they had some good ones here with some over-the-top gore. I was a little surprised about that. You normally think of a mainstream horror film not going as far as they did here. Well, very good film. I don't know what the people were complaining about. It's a good Scream series. It's written by the guy that wrote most of the really good ones. Yeah, the stars are a little older, a little slower. But Neve Campbell, she's still great. Courtney Cox is still good. One minor pet peeve. Neve Campbell has been aging naturally and she looks great. Courtney Cox looks like she's had some cosmetic work done. She's got that she's got that elongated lip thing you get when you get facelifts and stuff. And it just doesn't look right. Like I said, personal pet peeve. Maybe she thinks it looks great. I don't know. But other than that, yeah, really enjoyable. Good suspense, good mystery. You got all the usual suspects. Bit of a curveball about halfway through, which kind of sets the whole searching for clues thing that powers the second half of the film. Who could be the killer? Because I might as well go ahead and say, about halfway through, Ghostface gets killed, and then it's revealed to be someone nobody knows. But Stu keeps calling. So is Stu still alive? Or is it someone using AI? Who knows? I'll let you watch to figure that part out. But yeah, I would say it's a really good sequel. Really enjoyed it. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.